go to fill out your bracket, compete against myself and Jack, and I'm going to tell you here coming up who I'm going to pick, Jack. I think I have my winner. Do you have your winner?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Take a look.
You gotta parse through it.
Is Duke healthy?
10 no, they're not.
Exactly.
But they're still good. 10 SEC teams are in the men's tournament. That's the most of any conference. 10 are in, if you include Texas playing in. But Florida, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, who just won the SEC tournament in Nashville. Is that okay that they get to play on their home floor? That's kind of cool. I mean, South Carolina on the women's side pretty much plays in their backyard. Vanderbilt plays in Nashville, and they just beat Florida yesterday, ended that long Florida win streak to win the tournament after beating Arkansas. But Georgia, the Aggies, Texas A&M is in, right? They and Texas were very close on that seed line. I think, Jack, Texas was 42, and I think, as I saw it, and the Aggies were 40. So the Aggies are at 10, and the Longhorns are playing in. Missouri, here's a question I have. Why would Missouri be a full line seed ahead of Texas?
Yeah, that's the question. Because
Texas beat me. I'm not going to sit here and pound the table for Texas because they were lousy down the stretch. We get that. But they beat Missouri head up in their building, and they have better metrics across the board than Missouri, yet Missouri is higher seeded than Texas. But either way, Longhorns are in. Kentucky is also the 10th team that is in. And when I look at this bracket, here's what I'll say. My overriding things, and I have my winner here, but the East is a beast. And that features the tournament's top overall seed. That's Duke.
Yeah, they kind of got hosed.
Well, it's the East, and they want those big, Duke. So you got Duke with John Shire for the second straight year. That's the number one overall seed. No, was Duke the number one overall seed last year? Or was it Auburn? Remember, it was Duke, Auburn, and they all made the Final Four. Houston was there.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Duke with Cooper Flagg. But now you got this guy Cam Boozer, who's going to be Player of the Year candidate. He's an all-world player. That's back-to-back years with a true freshman for John Shire, and they're a team to beat. But then, how about this? You got Dan Hurley in UConn. You have Tom Izzo and the Spartans in the East. Bill Self in Kansas. Rick Pitino and the Johnnies. Mick Cronin in UCLA. That's some heavyweight coaching in that bracket. I mean, Pitino and his St. John's team just won the Big East tournament, took down UConn. Tom Izzo, Tournament Tom, as we say. Dan Hurley. You say Duke got a little bit... because Kansas is a 4 seed with Darren Peterson and what they can do if they get hot. UConn the same. Michigan State's a rough and tough team. Louisville's in there. That's a tough bracket. That is a tough bracket.
Very.
I would also say there's an interesting situation in the South region where Houston is the 1 seed. The Cougars, or the 2 seed, I should say. Florida is the 1 seed. But how about this? Houston gets to host in Houston. So Sweet 16, Elite 8 will be at the Toyota Center. In the South Regional, Kelvin Sampson pretty happy about it.
Oh, I haven't even thought about that. Not going to think about it.
All right, so Florida's like, wait a second. We just won 23, 24 games in a row or whatever the number was, and they lost to Vandy in the tournament, SEC tournament in Nashville, in their hometown, and they drop into the spot where they're the 1 seed, but the way you do it, Jack, you do a snake, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 4th 1 seed was Florida. And that means they're going to play Houston, which was the first 2 seed with Kelvin Sampson. So Houston will, and that's in Toyota Center. So Florida just had to go to Nashville to try to win the SEC tournament. They're going to have to go to Houston if they can get through the first couple days or couple games. Florida's going to have to go play in front of a partisan Houston crowd. And I was in San Antonio last year when Houston was in the Final Four. And the Houston fans, they may not come out for regular season games down in Houston, but they'll come out for that. Mm-hmm. That'll be packed with red. And you're like, Florida's like, wait a second.
You see that in the pros, too. You're like, I'm not getting down there. I'm not driving 2 hours to go 10 miles down
for a regular season
Houston,
game.
But
You'll go for a playoff game. Yeah.
We'll go.
Yeah, so the South's interesting. And that, you still have Illinois in there. That's a good team with Coach Underwood and some interesting matchups there. Also, the Midwest region, Michigan is the 1 seed. They lost yesterday to Purdue, and that kind of changed the seed line according to the committee. But 31-3, they've been dominant from the start. Iowa State in there though, the 2 seed there. That's a good one. If we had a national regional final there, Virginia's a good club too. Alabama out of the SEC, Texas Tech. You feel bad for Texas Tech. They fall to a 5 seed. You just would love to see the Red Raiders with Obi Toppin, having. Is it JT Ties? JT.
Yeah.
JT.
Obi's on the Pacers.
Yeah, JT's one of the Player of the Year candidate, and then he got hurt. They're still in for Coach McCaslin, but the Red Raiders are going to be an interesting team. Rick Barnes, 6-seeded Tennessee Volunteers, are also in the Midwest region. Then there's the West, Jack. And I'll just tell you, I'm going to pick, when I fill out my bracket, I've already done the dirty work. I'm taking Arizona to win this whole thing.
They've been good all year.
I'm taking the
32-2
Arizona Wildcats to win with Tommy Lloyd as the. I'm going to take Arizona. You guys, I'm saying to get at 6:20 on a Monday. In my bracket for 1027ESPN.com, I'm taking Arizona. Deep roster, balanced scoring. They just won the regular season in the Big 12. Are we in agreement that the Big 12 is the toughest and deepest basketball conference there is? Arizona won it and won the tournament on that stupid glass LED floor that they had to change out because people started getting hurt. Thank you, Brett Yormark. But Arizona's the one. I like them a lot. Purdue, I never trust Matt Painter and Purdue. I like that matchup for Arizona. Gonzaga's out there. Arkansas, that one scares me. Got to tell you, John Calipari's team all the way down to a 4. They with Acuff Jr. and they're getting better.
Cal teams in Kansas, it's like either Final Four or first round for them.
Yeah, well, Arkansas just won. That's a good team.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good team, Arkansas. So, no, did Arkansas beat Vanderbilt in Nashville? I know they beat Florida. Vanderbilt did. I think Arkansas may have won the SEC tournament. I got to go back and look at that. I was watching golf, but there's so much to watch yesterday. But Arizona's my pick. Now, Texas, if they can beat NC State in a rematch. Remember, they beat NC State way back at the start of the year, and NC State and Texas are going to play in Dayton, and we're going to hear from Sean Miller coming up. If Texas were to play in on Tuesday night, they're going to play BYU. BYU with the young freshman A.J. DeBonsa is the sixth seed there. So Texas and NC State will play BYU out in the West, and I'm taking the Arizona Wild. That's my team. That's my team to get to, because remember, the men are playing to get to Indianapolis. The women are playing to get to Phoenix.
That's right.
Where the Final Four would be. And Indianapolis is, my pick's going to be Arizona. That's my early. And let me give you this on Arizona. Arizona has 6 wins this year against top 10 teams, actually top 7 teams. How about this? Arizona at 32-2. Won the Big 12 regular season, won the Big 12 tournament. So far this year, over the course of their 34 games, Jack, have wins over number 3 Florida, number 3 UConn, number 2 seed Houston, number 6 seed Iowa State, number 7 Iowa State. These are when they played them, where they're ranked. But they have wins over Florida, UConn, Houston, Iowa State, Houston. Beat the U of H Cougars twice, who are the number 1 2 seed. They beat Iowa State, who's a 2 seed, twice, and they beat Florida and UConn this year. The only team they didn't play was Duke.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Arizona.
That's not a bad pick.
Watched them a bunch this year because every time they play Houston, I tune in, including that Big 12 title game. And they're just, when you're that much better than Houston, and what Kelvin, they're just so good defensively. They're deep. They're good offensively. And I know Duke is good, but they do have the injury to the big man, which could be a factor. Florida, I like a lot with their rugged interior, and their backcourt's gotten better.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I lean right now, I think.
What's that?
I think I lean Florida right now, but I'll see how with the
and Michigan could win this thing.
Sure.
Michigan's one of those teams that in the Big Ten, like Purdue got to see them a couple times during the year, and then in the tournament, and you got to get used to their size and their depth and just how their positional sides, they're just big everywhere. But if you're playing them in a tournament, it's a one-game situation. You haven't seen them. Michigan could absolutely win this thing, but Duke is the number 1 team. They're the odds favorite. Arizona is the 2 overall seed with Michigan and Florida, your top 4. Then it's Houston, and then back down with Iowa State and company.